another episode of Whiskey Riff Raff. I'm Shelby.
My name's Quinn.
And today our guest is Read Southall of the band Southall. It was formerly Read Southall Band, and now it's just Southall.
Now it's just Southall. Cut out the extra parts, streamlined it a bit. And he I think he talked a little bit about that as well,
Yes.
how that's made their life a little bit easier. But it was great to talk to Read Southall. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome to talk to him. And the day after we recorded our episode with him, I actually went to go see their show.
Right.
Which blew me away.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had seen him play a festival before, but seeing him at a smaller venue was like one of the best performances I've seen this year.
A lot of energy.
A lot of energy. Like, he made some crazy faces while he performed, which was like very entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
And he played all the hits, so I was very impressed.
What more could you ask for?
Yeah, I was very impressed.
Yeah, I can't remember. Could have gone to that, but I think a Bible study got in the way. So shout out to the Lord. And I remember they were trying to no, you got to go to this, and maybe I should have. And then the people at the Bible study that I went to were like, you should have gone to it. So I don't know. It was a lot of mixed feelings there, but I'm glad you got to go and experience it. It looked like it was a lot of fun.
It was a blast. Did you get to see any live music in between our last episode and this one?
I think a little bit, but just here and there in bars and such.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if we I don't know, are we doing the concert roundup today where we talk about concerts that we went to?
Well, yes, but that's the only one I went to this time, I think.
Well, other than just stopping in for a drink here and there, hearing some live music in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
No other place like Nashville to just walk in for a drink and listen to some live music. There's a lot of I always get kind of sad though, because there's so much talent in Nashville, and I'm like, how is this person not, one of the biggest stars in the city? But that's just kind of how it is. That's the welcome to Nashville type of thing that happens.
It's crazy. And we just celebrated the 4th of July.
That's right.
Which I think can lead us into our top stories of the week.
Yeah, of course.
First one is Cody Jinks. He was supposed to be playing shows in Canada for the 4th of July, which odd timing. But
definitely odd.
His crew got denied entry into Canada, and he decided, we're just not going to play these shows. They're canceled.
Mm-hmm.
And people had a lot of opinions.
Yeah, and I think it being 4th of July shows made that more intense, the feelings around that, because it's like, wow, look at Canada stopping Cody Jinks from playing a 4th of July show.
Yeah.
How crazy is that? I think it got politicized a little bit. But I also loved the response from Cody Jinks. And who was it? Ward Davis.
Yes.
Both of them put out some very, I think Cody's was maybe a little bit more professional. It doesn't matter if it was professional or not, but both of them were a little bit fired up that their trucks were not able to get through the border and they had to cancel those shows.
Yeah, Ward Davis is definitely known for being outspoken, and he's best friends with Cody Jinks, so that tracks. Something else that's pretty patriotic is today, the day we're recording, is Toby Keith's birthday.
July 8th.
So, everyone's celebrating him already this morning.
Yeah, and I think, the best way you can celebrate Toby Keith is just fire up some of his songs. I saw that Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue was, I think, one of the most streamed songs over the weekend, obviously, for obvious 4th of July reasons. And, it just, I still can't believe that we're living in a world without Toby Keith. It's always a gut punch to think about. But hey, no better day to celebrate the Big Dog Daddy than his birthday. So this will come out a little bit after his birthday, but hopefully, if you're listening or watching, you celebrated responsibly Toby Keith's big day.
And it just makes sense that his birthday is right after the 4th of July.
Right.
That just has to work out that way.
I think so too. Yep.
Another big story is after our last podcast episode with Willow Avalon, we wrote on the story about how she got a lot of internet hate for performing with Zach Bryan at Stagecoach, and people had a lot of opinions about that.
I hope that Willow doesn't have any hard feelings against us, because we were just putting her side of the story out there about the internet hate that she was already getting, and the story that we wrote about the internet hate then got even more internet hate. I'm saying that a lot, but that's the internet for you, I guess.
Yeah, and it wasn't all hate. There was definitely people on her side. Yeah. I think there was a whole media wave for her because it got announced that she was dating a famous actor. Are you familiar with him?
It's Matthew Gray
I don't know his name. But
It's either pronounced Gubler or Goobler.
I think it's I don't know. But he's
Criminal Minds.
Yes, Criminal Minds
Yeah.
actor. I kind of like recognized him,
Mhm.
but the internet like apparently loves him or hates him.
Yes.
And then so that also just like fueled the fire of
a little bit of an age gap, I believe, there too.
yeah. Which I feel
Nothing
like
wrong with
I
that.
feel like it's pretty normal in Hollywood in general. But yeah, big feedback and a lot of comments on her, which she was an awesome guest.
So much fun. Yeah, if you haven't checked that episode out, yeah, go back and like I don't know exactly, but like the last 10 minutes are just this unreal, insane story about how she got arrested and how the arrest mugshot ended up on her debut album cover.
Yes. And adding on to more of that internet fuel is also the Riley Green, Megan Maroney, Ella Langley saga that just seems never to end.
What's the latest on that?
So last time we talked, I was like, he might be on the podcast soon.
Right.
So we'll just leave it for him, which would have been this episode, and they had to reschedule. So, I don't know if there's really any update of anything that's happened. I think more than ever, anything that they say about each other just gets blown up and highlighted, and everyone feeds into it, and they're just loving it. And I think it's great PR for them, regardless if anything's happening or not.
Is there any conspiracy out there about how like maybe they're just keeping this quote unquote feud going to help them stay in the headlines?
I doubt that's a conspiracy. I don't blame them for taking advantage of the opportunity.
Right, and I don't
want to. The case.
That was me recklessly speculating. So I'm not starting the rumor. I was just like, hey, I mean, this feud has been going on for a while. Maybe they're doing it on purpose. But listen, I'll take my tinfoil hat off and stop trying to spread conspiracies. I think that there is just a little bit of a love triangle, if you could call it that.
Yeah, definitely. And with that, let's head into Roast and a Toast, which is something new that we started a couple weeks ago, where we roast someone, something, and then we give a toast to them. So
I like it.
I'll let you go first.
Yeah, it's almost like a little bit of a therapy session.
Yes.
Are we starting with roast?
Yeah, let's start with roast.
Okay. I would like to roast concerts being too expensive.
A story as old as time.
And I think, that's preaching to the choir a bit. I'm sure everybody can relate to that. But I can't tell you how many times I've been excited and, oh, wow, this person's, coming to a town near me. And then I click on the link for tickets and it's just like astronomical. Whatever happened to a good old like $60, $80 ticket?
It's never just 60. It's never just 80. It's those Ticketmaster fees.
Yeah, and then and that I forgot about, because then you click on it, it's like, oh, this is $150. That's not too bad. And then you go to checkout and it's over $200. Yep. So I'm roasting the fact that, and I know maybe artists can't do a lot about it, but concert tickets, they've got to be a little bit cheaper. Let the people go listen to the music.
And I will kind of join you on that for my roast. It was 4th of July weekend. I may have indulged in some drinks and some late night fast food.
Yep.
When did fast food get so expensive?
It's crazy.
I think I went to Taco Bell and spent like $40.
Yeah. Well, that's why you've got restaurants like Chili's moving in, and it's like, hey, we'll offer you this entire meal for $11, and that's the same price you'd pay for a meal and going through the drive-through. So I completely agree with that. It slowly crept up too, because it seems like maybe just in the past couple years, the fast food has really gotten expensive.
Definitely. And then who are you going to give a toast to today?
I'm going to give a toast to 3-day weekends.
Okay.
All right. I mean, 4th of July weekend. 4th of July fell on a Friday this year, which was wonderful.
Feels like it should be that way every year.
Yeah. I don't know how that would work, but just having a 3-day weekend just feels like it makes sense. I don't know if I want them all the time, but one every once in a while, I feel like could really help, productivity, because they say that a lot of burnout and stuff might lead to lower production. Maybe we just need some 3-day weekends thrown into the calendar every now and then, and maybe people will stay motivated throughout the year.
I'm all for a 4-day work week, whenever. Yeah. Continuously the rest of the year.
I thought you were going to say 4-day weekend or 4 days.
Well, you want to get crazy.
Yeah, if we want to get nuts, I guess we could do that too. But yeah, 3-day weekends, that's my toast.
Got it. And mine is to Gavin Adcock this week.
Okay.
He let's say roasted Beyonce.
So you're toasting Gavin for roasting Beyonce.
Yes,
Okay.
he had a very strong opinion. Oh, I don't even think it's that strong of an opinion. I think it's probably a popular opinion that people have about Beyonce winning all the country awards this year for her air quotes country album. And he basically said, that's not country, which is what everyone was already thinking, even if they hadn't said it, which we have said it several times, and he took some backlash.
And I think it's ironic because he's standing there saying this is not a country album. Beyonce also said that was that her Cowboy Carter was not a country album.
Exactly.
So he's just saying what she said, but obviously he's getting some backlash because of the things that he said. But he just says what he wants to say. Whatever's on his mind, it comes out. So I do respect that.
Yeah, same. And I don't know if you saw it, but on his story, he literally screenshotted people like sliding in his DMs, and one was a Tennessee football player who was calling him some derogatory terms.
Sure.
So, and I think the endearing thing about Gavin is that he like leans into it even further and just takes it for what it is.
You won't see an apology posted onto Gavin Adcock's Instagram or Twitter anytime soon. I don't think.
And so with that, I'm like, I have water today, but we can toast to that.
Yes, those are some good toasts, and I guess that also leads into the songs that we're listening to on repeat.
Yes.
What would be the one that has been in your mind recently?
Mine is Onita by Tyler Childers. And then again, so controversial for some reason because people liked the YouTube version, the stripped back version versus the produced version. I'm just happy to have the song on streaming so I can listen to it whenever I want.
You can't try to convince an artist for years to put out a studio version of the song, and then when they do, get upset that it takes away from the lore of the fact that it wasn't a studio album song.
I could not agree more.
That drives me nuts.
Me too.
Which we're done with Toast and Roast, so I don't need to get angry. We already got through that part.
But love it, and I can't wait for the new album.
I think and a little bit of a surprise too. Kind of came out of nowhere. Tyler Childers' new album, so I'm excited for that. And funny that you had Tyler Childers. I have Charlie Crockett. A Game I Can't Win. From his Lonesome Drifter album that just came out recently. And then he's putting another album out. I mean, this man puts out albums like it's nobody's business. I actually wrote not too long ago on Whiskey Riff. Check it out. I write a lot on Whiskey Riff, but I wrote one in particular about Charlie Crockett being just an underrated country music star. Like people are asking for an authentic, genuine country music artist. Like I think he's it. And I think he's 41 years old, and people are talking about him as like a breakout artist, which sounds kind of funny, but the man is talented. The man can't stop putting out good music, and Game I Can't Win, I've listened to it upwards of 15, 20 times.
Okay,
in the
I'm
last
gonna have
2
to
weeks.
listen to that one next. I definitely listened to that album, but that one was I don't remember that one off the top of my head. But I think Zach Bryan gets so much credit for always releasing music, where Charlie Crockett has been doing this since before Zach Bryan and is still doing it.
It's a crime that Charlie Crockett is not as big as Zach Bryan, and I will die on that hill.
I agree with you.
And I said it was funny that you mentioned Tyler Childers, because I think we were just talking that I think Tyler Childers and Charlie Crockett are playing together in Nashville a little bit later this year. So I've got to figure out how to get to that show because, wow, I mean, those two artists together.
We got to be there.
Feels like you could really get your money's worth. We're talking about ticket prices being high. At least you could go to that show and be like, okay, I'm fine that I paid $350 for this ticket or whatever.
Worth it to me. And with that, let's get into this interview with Southall.
Sure, you're busy. Yeah.
Yeah, and like whenever I come home off the road, I feel bad because my wife's like, "Let's go out," and I'm like, "All I want to do is stay home." I got to go out for the last 2 fucking weeks,
every night.
yeah, whether I wanted to or not.
Yeah.
But
did you guys meet in Oklahoma?
Yeah, we're from the same town.
Okay.
Yeah, went to the same high school. There's a bunch of little towns around this one big town, and we both went. Her mom was actually my 7th grade science teacher.
Oh, nice. Oh.
Yeah, she wasn't a huge fan at first. Took some time.
A 7th grader. Not many.
I was
people
a shithead too. Yeah.
Not many people are fans of 7th graders in general.
It's like the worst age. I think.
Yeah.
It's always, but that's kind of a small world thing, right? Where it kind of comes full circle. Like, oh yeah, now I'm married to the daughter of my 7th grade teacher.
Yeah.
It's cool. I think my favorite thing about it is like I was always worried that I don't know I was gonna end up with someone that like I thought I knew, and then like they were gonna
switch up on you.
yeah screw me over or something. And I feel like it's really nice. Like I sleep at night knowing that I know this person. Like I know her grandpa and her grandma and her mom and dad very well, and like I don't have to worry about I don't know ill intention, which is nice.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
It's very nice.
Well, heads up, we've already been recording. So.
Okay. We are.
And so for the people listening, we are sitting with Read Southall.
Hello. Howdy.
Now, I've seen you perform twice. Once opening for Whiskey at Red Rocks.
Okay.
And
That was a
then
good one to see.
at a festival in Idaho.
Was it?
Highway 30.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I've never seen your show. So I'm going to your show tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to seeing your show.
Yeah.
I feel like you guys don't come. Well, I've only been in Nashville 2 years, but I feel like you guys don't come to Nashville necessarily.
Not a whole lot.
Yeah.
Honestly. Not as much as we probably should.
Well,
but
I think a lot of artists, for some reason, just kind of avoid. Like, I feel like people go like up to Lexington, or they'll go over to Chattanooga even more than they'll come to Nashville.
there's the expression. Am I allowed to say shit on here?
Yes.
Of course, you're allowed to say whatever curse word you want.
There's the expression, you don't shit where you eat, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's what. Whenever people ask me about Oklahoma, like, why don't you ever play at home or whatever? I'm like, well, shit where you eat.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
this is home, and it's nice to come home and then go out on the road. And I wish we played here more often, but it's been nice to like save those moments for like the Opry, and getting to do these neat things rather than every other weekend being here and begging people to come out to the shows. It's kind of nice to only do these selected few, And I think Chiefs will be cool. It'll be cool because it'll be sold out, and I don't know.
Have you been in that venue yet?
No, I haven't.
It's cool.
That's what I've heard. I've heard nothing but great things.
It's like a little mini Ryman. It feels
Really?
like the top level's like wooden pews.
Yeah.
The bottom is more like open areas. Sometimes they set up seats, but
It's all stained glass windows,
yeah.
the Ryman, but it's like Jimmy Buffett and like Alan Jackson on there instead of like just.
I'm excited.
church.
I'm excited to see it. I sang a song at the Ryman with Chase Rice, probably. I'm gonna do bad at this, but probably like a year ago.
Yeah, that sounds
something like
about
that.
right. Yeah, I'm like, because you guys have that song together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they hit me up and they were like, "You want to fly in?" So flew in, me and the wife, and went and hung out, and all I had to do was sing one song. It was great.
Yeah,
that's a nice
I didn't
gig.
have to load in all my junk,
No, you just show up.
Show up, plug in my in-ears, and sing a song, and then be like, all right.
Yeah, we've actually had Chase Rice on the podcast.
Oh, yeah?
Probably end of last year.
Yeah, great guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
it was
is.
really cool. How did you guys end up, making music together? Because I feel like he's so opposite end of the spectrum
Yeah.
from like the country realm as you guys.
Yeah, I think that's kind of how,
Yeah.
like that is what really we share some management and stuff, and at one time booking agents, and so we were kind of like mixed in. And then when we came, we played, I think, the Basement East probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago, last time we were there, and he came out and they hit us up and they were like, hey, Chase wanted to come out and check out the show. And he did, and then he came on the bus afterwards, and we hung out and shot the bull, and then eventually he ended up, he had this song called Oklahoma, and he knew that I was from Oklahoma, and I remember in the bus he was telling me, like I loved the set, and I loved how like honest it was or whatever, and he kind of told me about his path and how he, whenever he started and he was in this place that he didn't really want to be in, but he was just kind of there. And I don't know, jumped right in the groove and got to being friends. And out of nowhere, they're like, hey, you want to, come sing this song about Oklahoma? I was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So came back to Nashville, drove down to Chase's, and they were recording it at his house, and got to meet some like killer players, just absolute legends that had played with all these people, and they were really great. And I think they were excited because Chase kind of like was like, all right, we want to have fun with this one, you know, like we want to rock this one up. And I think it was kind of nice for those guys to get to just let loose and play whatever they want, because I'm sure on a daily basis they're like, no, that's too loud, or you know. And we just kind of let them do whatever they wanted to, and it was great. It ended up really cool. It's like a 8-minute song or something.
Yeah.
And I think whenever people hear like, oh, or they see like this is a 7-minute, 8-minute song, for some reason they're kind of turned off by that.
Yeah, which I don't understand that.
Me either.
Because
it's just free. You know what I mean? Like,
it's like if it's a good song, you want it.
I'm not charging you extra money because it's longer. You know what I mean? And if you get tired of it after 2 minutes, skip it.
Yeah, and you'll most likely listen to 2 songs anyway. So just act like you're listening to 2 songs. That's always drove me nuts. Whenever people are like, well, I like that song, but it's 6 minutes.
So long.
But then like my favorite like long songs, it's like they're long because of the guitar solo, or like I'm getting into running and now I'm like I ain't look for those long songs. So I'm like if something is good, I want it as long as I possibly can before trying to find a new song.
Well, I don't know how you feel about jam bands, but I'm huge on jam bands, and I remember my wife not as much, but she tolerates it, and that's the key to marriage, right? Toleration. And I remember I was listening to a Grateful Dead song, and it was like 25 minutes because you know, a live Grateful Dead song.
And they go off here and go down here and over this, and
And I think she like put headphones in, and then took them out. I was like, "Is this the same song still?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, it is," because I love it. But I don't know.
Get your money's worth.
Yeah,
I know.
I don't know.
We also just saw Sturgill like on this tour, and he played like 3-hour sets, and he also took his wife to that. But like that's like
she was probably pretty ready to go home.
She might be upset that I tell this story, but he played for like an hour and a half without saying a word. Just came up on stage, played for an hour and a half, and then he finally talked to the audience and was like, "We're gonna be here until 11:30." And I remember she like grabbed my arm. She's like, "Did he say 11:30?" And I was like, "He sure did." I was like smiling from ear to ear because I was loving every bit of it.
We get extra.
Yeah.
You get your money's worth with the Sturgill show, and I think he's even said that like he wants to give people the show that
which is
that they pay
wrong
for.
With that.
Yeah, that's the max of a jam band I can go though. Sturgill is Sturgill and a little like Billy Strings, but then like no Grateful Dead for me.
That's fine. It's not
There's this really cool jam band from Australia called King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard.
King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard.
I won't forget that name.
Yeah, they're so good. They've got this. I think it's called Eyes Like the Sky, but it's like this narrated like Western story, and they've got this guy. I don't know. It's really cool. It's like this story about this like pale skinned kid that was born into like a native tribe, and that's why he had like blue eyes, like eyes like the sky. I don't know. It's a really cool, weird. It would be a good thing to run to, you know, because it's kind of like a story, but you know, you got plenty of time.
How'd you find them?
I've got a songwriter buddy in Oklahoma that I don't know nerded out and told us about it. Really, that album specifically, and then I think they came to Oklahoma City. Okay. We were playing. We don't ever get to see bands we want to see.
Yeah.
Or always. Like there's this band from Tulsa that I've been into. I think I don't know if I'm saying it right. Wildorado. Anyway, really cool stuff. I've been sending songs here and there to my drummer, and I was like, man, I really love this vibe or whatever. And then he sent me back like, oh, they're playing at Scissortail Park in OKC for free, and it was like the night of the finals or something. We're in Oklahoma City when we won the finals, and I was like, damn, we're gonna be in wherever we're gonna be at. And it was a free show. I was like, man, that's my luck.
What is the last concert you went to for fun?
Oh, we went and saw last time Alan Jackson was in town. I bought my wife tickets for her birthday.
That's a good one.
Yeah, and she's like super Alan Jackson fan, which so am I.
Same.
You know, like
I think I am as well.
My
So we're
grandma
all
was
Jackson
like
fans here.
drove a Mustang, like smoked cigs, and we drive around listening to Alan Jackson's greatest hits. Yeah,
that's a good time.
Oh yeah. So I mean, those songs are just like deeply ingrained in me.
You know, he's doing his final show in Nashville at Nissan next year.
Really?
Next summer. So I'm like, I gotta be there.
Man, he sounded really good. You could tell he was having a hard time getting around, but I mean, shit. he sounded great, and the band sounded great.
Mm-hmm.
And the production was really cool. You know, they'd put a bunch of like old videos mixed with new stuff, and like it was cool. It was really cool.
What was it that he played at the award show? When he accepted the.
Was it Remember One?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And they played the.
There were so many moments like that where I was just like laughing, but I was like secretly.
Yeah. This might be my last time I ever see him.
Yeah.
That was brutal. That felt like watching Marley and Me. It was like for some reason just a knife right into the heart. Yeah.
But what a catalog and a career, you know.
And like the more you go back and listen, the more you find like new songs that like have been sitting there for 30 years that are just as good.
It was like I took my sister and my brother-in-law, and I don't feel like they were that excited about it, you know. I feel like
don't
you know
appreciate
where I'm from
it
is
the
like,
same
oh,
way.
Alan Jackson's like, okay, sick, you know, but you don't. And then I was downplaying it a little bit too, I think. And then once we got there, and like we sat down, it was like, oh, I know the song, I know the song, I know the song. And it was just jam-packed full of just hits. Dude.
Yeah.
Absolute
It's
hits.
almost like no matter what set list he puts together, it's going to be full of songs.
And he probably didn't play half of them.
No,
you know?
they have so many like number ones back then.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like he would do, you know, I think it was like he would start and play like a chorus verse and then like jump into another song, trying to like save time to get more of them out there, which I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
So if you like Alan Jackson, do you like Zach Top?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I saw him.
I feel like that's like easy connection there.
Yeah, for sure.
The second coming of Alan Jackson. Some are saying.
Dude, I love it. I'm here for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm really here for the traditional thing. That's what I grew up on. You know, that's what made me love music was like 90s country.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Then where does the rock influence come from?
I always loved rock too. I think the first band would probably be like Creedence Clearwater, you know, because they were doing that a little bit drivey stuff, and that was what my grandpa liked. My papa, he was all about the Creedence and really like traditional, like you know, like Gary Stewart, and he had all that on tape. I got all his old tapes out of his pickup, but. It was just like that little extra, you know, edge to I think what is what Creedence, and it drugged me over there, you know, and then it was everything else. It was Led Zeppelin, and I went through. I graduated high school in 2010, so whenever I was 7th, 8th grade, it was kind of emo stuff, you know.
Yeah.
It was like those, you know.
That's what I like too. I was just
emo
saying,
bands.
yes. I mean, Paramore wasn't exactly emo, but like I love Paramore.
My Chemical Romance.
Yeah.
That kind
like
of
I
stuff,
listened
too.
to like The Used and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, just in that vein, you know. I think it was a way that was like my own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That because like I said, I've always been into 90s country and traditional country and really like classic rock, but my mom was a huge like I'll never forget, you know, that record, the Jet record that's got Cold Hard Bitch on it.
Yep.
Cold Hard Bitch,
Just a kiss on the
Yeah.
lips. Yep.
like I remember just as loud as it would go. Mom's Dodge Durango, I mean cranked.
Did they sing Are You
I was
Gonna Be
allowed to
My
say
Girl?
bitch, you know?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you could say it because it's
I
a
mean,
song.
if I was singing it, yeah. So I'm sure she would say, I never told you you could do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That, and she was a big fan of like the Guess Who and Fleetwood Mac, and you know.
Yeah, so you already had a ton of music around you as is. We were just watched the documentary that you guys put out, and you you also mentioned your dad played a big role in like your music career too.
Yeah.
I don't know about the influence of the music, but he like definitely pushed you to.
Yeah, I think more than anything, it was just like he was just being a good dad, you know, like confident and reassuring, you know, like, hey, it was really nice now, like now that I'm a dad, I don't know half of what he knows, but I hope that I'm as good of a dad as he was, because he was really good about, like, you know, who cares? Do what you want to do, and if you don't know what that is, then that's okay. Like, but as long as you're working and like striving and swinging towards something, then you're okay. You know, the only thing you can do wrong is not do anything.
Yeah.
And
how old were you when like you were debating making music?
Man, I've didn't realize it, but I was in an Uber driver yesterday with a guy, and we were talking about it, and I just kind of popped off something or like revealed it to myself. Like, we used to make, you know, that when we were probably 13 or something. I remember there was like a little USB microphone, and we'd find like an instrumental, like a rap instrumental, and like none of my friends could write their own verse for the most part. A couple of them could, but I would get stuck with writing because I always liked like reading comprehension, and I was kind of a nerd about it. I didn't like it in school, but I was really good at it. And that was what I think the first thing that like opened my eyes, like, oh, okay, I can say something interesting and, you know, it to a melody or whatever. And
everyone wanted you to write the verses.
Yeah. And then, you know, it just kind of ended up being this thing that I was like, okay, I'm good at that. It's like drawing or something, you know, drawing. It's like, you know, being good at sketching stuff out. I feel like it was something that I did from the start, and then it kind of progressed. And when I was in the oil field was like whenever I really kind of dove into it and did it all the time. And I was reading a lot then, which I think poured into the writing thing.
Right.
That's what I've been finding out. Like, the more that you put in on the reading side of things, the more you get out on the writing.
Someone else mentioned that. I can't remember.
I can't remember who we were talking to too.
It was an artist that said, you know, he was struggling with writing, and someone said, well, have you been reading?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, why would I be reading? And he's like, because it'll help with your writing.
Yeah.
They always say that, but yeah. So do you have time to read
Oh,
now?
me and my wife have been fighting over this Kindle
Yeah.
that she bought, and it like sat there for a year, and she read a couple books on it, and then I was like, I'm taking this on the road because like in my bunk, you know, it's dark, it lights up. I mean,
Perfect.
You can have books at home, but you can't take books on the road per se.
on the plane, all that stuff. So I've been finding time for it.
Yeah.
What kind of stuff do you like to read?
Oh man, I like McCarthy. Like, I like Western novels and stuff, and I say that. And then I'm kind of doing like some, you know, psychology books and stuff, kind of getting out there a little weird.
Those are my favorite. So
Yeah, getting, I don't know.
Improving 1% better every day.
Yeah. Well, and it's also like, it's kind of boring a little bit, but interesting. So like I can read 10, 15 pages and then be like, I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
I have a real problem with insomnia. I have. If I just lay there and try to go to sleep, I won't go to sleep. But if I just read, I'll go to sleep. But I like to read, so.
Reed likes to read.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we were just talking earlier with, you know, your management. They said that you're recording some new music, which is super exciting.
Yeah.
And in the documentary, you kind of went through the band and how everyone was contributing to the last album, Southall, that came out September 2023. For this album, is it everyone writing on it, or is it mainly you? How is that?
Yeah.
How's that looking?
Somewhat the same way. I know the first one we did like the Airbnb thing. We would meet up when we were off and get together and be like, I've got this song, I've got this one. And this time around, we just kind of been going in the studio, you know, and it's the same. I mean, it's in the sense of I've wrote 2 or 3, drummers wrote 2 or 3, guitar players wrote 2 or 3, and it's just kind of, they're filling in, you know. They're getting really good at it.
Yeah.
You know, and
that's fun.
Which is great, because then I just keep getting these killer songs to sing, and it's so nice to not. That was a big reason why I feel like we decided to make it a collaborative effort. It's so much more interesting to have 6 different palettes of songs, you know, rather than just what I could do, you know?
And probably a lot of pressure on you too when it's just like, well,
yeah, and
like you're carrying the team.
Well, I feel like a lot of it, I think they take time, you know, like, and we would get so busy on the road that I would just kind of like turn off that part of my mind. And it's tough, you know, to turn that off and then turn it on when you're home and turn it off when you go on the road. And I think just learning what I need, you know, and like how much time I need to spend on it has been really beneficial. And I think same thing with the other guys. Like I think our biggest holdup before was we were waiting too long to get back in the studio. And like I said, you're turning off that part of your brain, and then you go into the studio and it's like, all right, give me gold, you know? And you're like, well, I don't know. I've been worried about where I'm going to eat for the last 3 weeks. You know, I haven't been worried about how I feel. You know?
The psychology books will help though.
Yeah.
And with songs coming everywhere from different bandmates, is it more of a competitive atmosphere or is it a collaborative atmosphere?
I feel like it's collaborative.
Okay.
Maybe, I mean, there's probably a little bit of the competitiveness, which is good. It's like a positive force behind it, you know? Because then you're like, man, he wrote a great song.
Yeah, naturally, if
I gotta go to work.
If you hear the cut, it's like, okay, that was really good. I gotta step it up, but not like man, I don't have a song. It seems like it'd be more of a positive atmosphere. Like if somebody writes a good one, you guys are all.
It's also nice because you have something to work on. You know, that is my least favorite thing about the studio is when you get in there and like you're killing time to just get, you know, squeezing it out, the last drop. I really enjoy just getting in there, working on something, and like, okay, let's take a break on this and move on to this, and everybody's having fun with it, you know, rather than, okay, well, we don't really have the part that we need to fix this or whatever. Like, say we were in a mechanic shop, we don't have the part to fix this, so let's sweep, you know. And I'm so sick of sweeping, you know. I'm sick of the like little shit to get ready for the good stuff.
And I feel like normally everyone hates a band name change. For you, it wasn't like some big switch up. It was you dropped 2 words.
Yeah, it's also been nice because, like, you know, every day we look like a band, you know, like when we're out and about, and there was like, what are y'all doing? You know, all you long hairs in one place, or just a bunch of middle-aged dudes rolling around. They're like, this is either a sports team or a, you know, or a band
or a gang.
Like, so what's the name of your band? It's Southall.
Yeah.
So much easier.
Yeah.
Because it used to be, well, it's Read Southall band. I'm like, what? And you're like, Read, READ, SOUTHALL. So band, you know, like a band.
Yeah.
And then now it's just Southall, like all the South, Southall.
Probably fits on a T-shirt better too.
Yeah,
right?
True.
Yeah.
The merchandising has been just through the roof.
Through the roof. Yeah.
Yeah, again, like watching the documentary, like leading up to this, I think it just also made so much more sense for like the timing of the name change and everything. Like I feel like it made me appreciate the name change. Like people just thought probably it was just easier.
Yeah.
Or
well, you know, there's still people online that are like, I was a fan before it was Southall.
The cool part I will say about switching your name though is like you're gonna have vintage merch that said Read Southall.
I've got a gang of it.
Oh yeah, versus just Southall.
Yeah.
I feel that way about like Mike and the Moon Pies.
Yeah.
And Silverado. I'm like, Mike and the Moon Pie stuff is gonna be like legit later.
Yeah. It's a cool aspect to it.
One thing that did stand out to me in the documentary, and I'll plug it, like if no one's watched it, go check it out on your all's YouTube page. The thing that I even texted you about was that Spit It Out is written about a dog.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so the lead guitar player on my left. So on my right, if you're looking at a picture, but John, JT Perry, has this weenie dog that's you know, a pain, I guess. And it was like, oh, I got this song, you know, and it just ended up being really cool. And
how did he approach you? He's like, so I've got this song and I wrote it about my dog, but it sounds like it's about a woman potentially.
Yeah.
I think we just jumped on and we were like, like, check this song out, you know, and it was, this is great. And then he was like, it's about, I think his name's Oscar. It's about Oscar. And I was like, holy shit. Now, that makes it even cooler.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And when you listen to it the first time not knowing, it's like, oh, that's a great song about, you know, a relationship that has maybe turned sour.
Yeah.
But then when you find out that it's written about a dog that just gets on your nerves, like, you know, obviously the scratching at my door line, there's other things. I think there's one that's like hiding lies underneath the bed.
Yeah, because I guess he would like chew stuff up and put it under the bed.
Yeah. And it's just so smart. I had never heard a song like that. But that's obviously just another cool aspect of, you know, that open nature that you guys have, is like, if you have an idea, bring it to the table.
Yeah. And I'll plug John's record while we're here, because he's the one who wrote that song. He just put out a record called No Wooden Nickels.
Okay.
You know, like the expression, don't take no wooden nickels. But that's John Tyler Perry, No Wooden Nickels. Check that out.
We usually ask like artists like what they're listening to, and whatever it is, I go and I'm like, I get so plugged in. I'm like, now it's all I'm listening to.
Yeah.
Yeah, heck yeah. They're all, most of my guys are doing their own, you know, side projects or whatever, or they're individual, and it's cool. It's cool too, because there's a fair amount of songs that I feel like we don't use in the band that don't really fit, and they get to put them on their project, or, you know, it's something that they were really proud of and they wanted to put on their project, and it's a song that we love, so we get to hear it, you know. Like Jeremy Nipp, my bass player, is another one. He's about to put out a full-length record, but I think he's got 2 or 3 singles out with it now. But it's fun. It's fun to like be able, because before I just knew all my friends' songs and there was no way to listen to them, you know? Or if I had a video of them playing it, or have them sit down and play it. But now I can, you know, now I can turn it on in the car, which is cool. Yeah, it's very cool.
I also love going through like Spotify and seeing like the numbers and like how it compares on every album. And on the newest album, Scared Money was like the standout by far. Like, what do you think it was about that song that stood out to people?
I think it's because of the old school vibe of it, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Rolling Stonesy sounding vibe of it.
It's like a cool song.
Yeah, it's upbeat. Yeah, I think that was the main driver of that. And it's in the country lane, but it's in the rock lane, and it's a comfortable place for, I feel like, our fan base to sit. And I don't know. I think we kind of knew it was going to be that way.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
How do you feel like being in that middle lane? Because, you know, we mentioned rock, we mentioned country.
Yeah.
How does it feel to be in that? Because I feel like even now, like, we've adopted so much like Southern rock, and we just kind of label everything like in the circle country.
Yeah.
You'd also probably be labeled red dirt.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely
So,
red
like,
dirt, yeah.
So, you know, you've got all these different categories you can fit into, which is probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a blessing and a curse. I think a lot of it, you know, is great because, like you said, you can fit anywhere. But then there's some of it that's kind of a pain, because then you go to some, you know, dance hall that some people are just there to hear music. They're not necessarily there for you. And then this is loud and, you know, too fast paced or
There's
whatever.
always someone yelling, "That ain't country."
Yeah.
These kids down here, these whippersnappers playing their loud amps, you know?
Yeah. Which I stand by that's not country when it comes to like the pop stuff. Because I'm like, you have your own category, go.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the rock, the Southern rock and red dirt, Appalachian, country, I'm like, that all is just one giant category. But I love like every side of the spectrum of it.
Yeah. I think that was the main reason behind the rural rock and roll thing, was because it feels like, you know, rural people doing their take on rock music. You know? None of us grew up in New York, you know. We don't know anything about that, or London or whatever. Like, we all grew up in the middle of nowhere, and we all pretty much like this, have the same influences. But that's also why one song will sound like a, you know, like a ballad, you know, super crazy ballad, and then the next will be a
well, that's kind of what I was wondering is you're not if you're approaching an album, you're not thinking like, okay, we've checked off the red dirt sound. Now we need to move into the country sound, and now we need to move down here and provide a rock song, you know, for fans of ours that like that.
a little bit. I think more so would be like trying to figure out what to put on. You know, these are singles, so like we should put out a rock song, and then you know, let's pull it back to a ballad, and then like the next one, let's do the country song we got. You know, I think having all those flavors, that's what I love about an album. I love the different, and that's what I love about my discography. You know, is to be able to look back and go, you know, like our first full band record, which was Borrowed Time. Like I look at it, and there's these songs, you know, that are like Damn or Don't Tell Me, that are super driven and rock, and then you've got the Why and the Letter, and they're like really sad, you know, sad bastard, you know, country songs.
Shelby's
you know?
a huge fan of the sad stuff they used to put out.
Again, I love both spectrums. Like I can work out to like the fast stuff, and then I just sit in my room and do nothing to the slow stuff.
Hell yeah, that's all right. I'm a sucker for sad songs.
Yeah.
Even when I'm not sad, really, I don't know.
Sucker for making sad songs, or sucker for listening?
I think listening, and then that in turn, you know, goes to making, because I just feel like it's so. I like feeling, you know, and that was something I think that, you know.
What's one of your favorite sad country songs?
Oh man,
I know we always ask this, and it's always takes a minute, but
359 by John Moreland.
Ooh, okay. Being from Oklahoma, that makes sense that you'd say John Moreland.
Is it 359 or 259? Something 59.
59, something 59.
Yeah.
Okay.
What messed me up, because my daughter was born at like 159 or 259.
And now you're getting more confused.
One of those. And I think the John Moreland's 359, and I think she was born 259. I don't know.
Well, and I think something about the sad country songs is like it takes you back to a time. Sometimes, at least for me, it's like, you know, an upbeat song is like, oh, that's great. You know, you like to listen to it. But then it's like, as soon as that sad song comes on, it's like, oh, this takes me right back to this feeling that I had at this point. You know, obviously that the song reminds you of. So it's definitely a powerful medium of music, I think, is the sad country songs. We're all about them at Whiskey Riff. Yeah.
Whenever I get to like a sad song now that like came out probably like 3 years ago or further back, it brings me back to a certain breakup. So why? I'm like, I know exactly what breakup that song reminds me of. I'm like,
that's
no.
what I kind of like about. They asked me about. We did some songs, I guess yesterday, and we did Why was one of them, because, you know,
why not?
Anyway. And they were asking me like what one of my favorite lines was or whatever of it, and I told them, I was like, I think the first line of the first verse, I really like it because it kind of puts me, like you were saying, back in that place. And then I feel like I can be real, and it's not just, you know, I'm not just like preaching from a empty stomach, I guess. I feel like I am putting myself on that street where I hit my brake lights and looked in my rearview mirror, you know, in that moment. And then I'm locked into that song. You know, which is not always the best thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's not always great to be
fun.
To be down in the dumps, I guess. But you just got to write a different song and then play it and then jump in that feeling, you know. That's why I had to wite Rose Gold, the love song.
Yeah.
Because I've been singing all these sad songs for all these years. I was like, I got to give my wife something good. A love song that tells her, you know.
Yeah. And I heard in another interview you say that usually like fans are an album behind. Yeah. Which I think is definitely the case, because I loved your guys' last album. And so I have a big group of friends that are all going tomorrow night just because we all love music and stuff. And I'm like, they like haven't heard the new album yet. And I'm like, you guys have to listen to the new album. But you're on the tour for the 10th anniversary for your first album. Yeah. So what does that mean? You're playing mostly the first album? Does that mean you're playing a little bit of everything?
We have been playing the entire first album.
Okay.
Yeah, from the start.
Top to bottom?
Top to bottom. Front to back.
Okay.
I've been coming out and doing that. And then sitting back and just playing like some favorites, I think. You know, some of the ones that I think we couldn't get away with not playing, you know, and throwing some fun ones in there, you know, some like high energy stuff. Because there's a few of the old ones that are just feel old, you know, which I mean, it's cool though, because in different places there's so many people. Like we were in Virginia, Winchester, last week, and there was a couple there, and they were like, "We've came to like 6 shows, and we've been wanting to hear Empty Hole. We've never heard Empty Hole, yada yada." I'm like, "Well, you're gonna hear it tonight. That we're going front to back." And I saw them up front whenever we were playing. I was like, "This is for you guys," you know.
Yeah.
Excited about it. But
it was in the set list anyways, but you're like, this one's for you guys.
It's just cool. It's cool to be able to you know, cover those bases, which you try to do that the best you can, you know. Like with this 10-year anniversary, it's been really cool. And then there's some places you go and they're like, "We don't want to hear the old stuff. We want to hear the new stuff." And you're like, "Yeah, but this is what we're peddling right now, you know?" Or like this, we're trying to knock this out so that next year we can put out a new record and we don't have to worry about playing all these super old songs, you know?
Yeah.
You've already got to see them.
Well, and it's like, I mean, if you're on a 10-year anniversary tour for an album, you know, fans should probably expect to hear that album.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I think a lot of fans are probably seeking that out.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've heard your all's fan base described as almost as like a grassroots movement, right? There's not a lot of like this big time, like, "Oh, well, you guys got plugged in here or there." It's like people love you and then they tell other people about it.
Yeah.
That's got to be something that you take pride in, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's weird. We kind of came up in a really weird time, you know? I went to dinner with some of the guys in Whiskey Myers last night, and we were talking about it, and they were talking about like when we graduated high school, you know, like I would borrow my mom's cell phone, you know, because nobody had cell phones then. I was like, it's weird too, because like I'm right behind that, where like we were the first people with phones. Like, you know, I got a phone. I was probably like 14 or 15, and that was just, then everybody had phones, you know.
Yeah.
But before that, nobody had them. And I think the music industry changed too, even just from when Whiskey Myers was doing it to when we were doing it. But even before them, you know, when like Ragweed and Randy Rogers and Bolin and all those people, Stoney, it was none. They were non-existent. It was, you know, Polar, like throwaway camera phase, you know.
We're even seeing it on the media side, because like it was always YouTube videos. You know, YouTube videos was the cool thing, and it still is. But now it's like you wake up the next day after a show and you see everything on TikTok, and it's in like such shorter like little things. It's like people are gonna be like, "I can't imagine a world without TikTok." And it's like YouTube used to be the cool thing.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I can't imagine a world with it, because I don't pay attention to it.
You don't?
No. I got on the Vine train a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
And then whenever that went away, it broke my heart. I was like,
rest in peace,
hell with
Vine.
all this.
I
you
know.
There's nothing wrong with it. I just don't think we fit in really there. That's not our most important task of the day, is like make a good TikTok, you know?
Yeah.
And which I don't hate that, but things would probably be easier if we were good at TikTok. But I am like proud to have the fans that we've acquired, because we have like beat down the pavement and kind of done it in an old school way mixed with the new school thing, you know? That was the thing that I think our cheat code was just having Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and all that stuff when we started. And I think the more serious you get into the music, the less you're paying attention to all those things. And I don't know. I kind of think there's times where I yearn for that, or I think that would be really good for us, you know. Then there's other times, like, that's what I love about our fans, is that they weren't like brought in by one song and only came for one song. Most of the time, we've got them on 5 or 6, you know, or more than that. And it becomes a whole evening, you know, and not just a hit or miss thing.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I'm proud of the base that we've built and the fan base that we've built. I really wouldn't have it any other way. Even if, you know, sometimes I'm like, it would have been nice to go viral and, you know, have 3 buses and semis and airplane and, you know, but also, like, is that really what's real, you know? Or is it the fans that are there that, you know, just stumbled in, or their friend brought them, and then they heard this one song that reminded them of their friend that passed away, and like now we have that connection, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Also,
I just,
you have so much time ahead of you still. Like,
oh, yeah,
it's
yeah.
like 10-year anniversary for your first album, but you were so young when you made it. So it's like, I heard you describe yourself as like middle-aged. I'm like, you're not middle-aged, you're like 40.
Yeah. Okay.
Honestly.
All right.
So
I got some
you're
time.
good.
Yeah.
You're good. But with all those like shows and being on the road for so long, you've also had a lot of openers who have blown up like crazy and had those viral moments.
Yeah.
Is there any one in particular that stands out?
I don't know about viral moments, but as far as like just blown up afterwards, yeah, there's a lot.
A lot.
I mean,
because I know I think like Treaty Oak was opening up for you guys at one point. I could be wrong.
Really,
on
just
that.
like festival stuff.
Yeah,
I feel like when they were coming up, we were at the headline phase of our Oklahoma, Texas festival thing, and yeah, like that was how I became familiar, and now me and Sam, the lead singer, friends and text and talk and stuff. But really, the biggest change was I met a guy. I got a call at the time from a gal, and she's like, "Hey, can you come to this bonfire?" It was in Stillwater, and that was where, you know, we broke out. And if I had a fan base, that was the only place I had one, you know. And I come to this bonfire. There's a band playing, but everybody's just standing around the bonfire. Nobody's like really paying attention to the band. We were thinking you could play some acoustic songs and get them over here, and then we'll let the band start. I was like, okay, whatever, you know. And I guess it was 10 years ago, because it was right after the album had came out and it kind of gained some traction. And I go out there and I meet, I'm trying to remember if I met Andreas first. I met Dre, and then I met this guy named Co Wetzel, and it's like, yeah, man, you know, in his East Texas thing. He doesn't sound like that. I don't know. That wasn't a very good impersonation. He says Diddy instead of Daddy. My Diddy. You know, I'm trying to get all the East Texas slang figured out, but I still don't have it figured out. But we're all different, a little bit different breed of redneck, I guess. But yeah, we went out there. I played some acoustic stuff, and then they got the band up, and I think they pulled me up, and we did some covers or something. And they came over to our house, and we stayed up all night and broke shit, and, you know, had a good time. And I was like, man, I'm trying to play in Texas. You know, nobody will let me play in Texas. I've beaten doors down. And this is pre-booking agent, pre-management, anything. And he's like, man, we're trying to just play in Oklahoma. We play everywhere in Texas. I was like, well, you come up for me up here. We'll come down there and open for you. And so we started doing that. They would come open for us at the Wormy Dog and at the Tumbleweed in Stillwater. And we were probably putting about 1,000 people in there or something. And it's just weird. It's weird to think about. Like, I was at some point on stage, like, give it up for, you know, the opening band, Go Wetzel. You know, it's like, what? You know, that's weird. But I'd heard his new record, which was at that time was Noise Complaint. And I was like, this is going to be huge. You know, it sounds great. And it's a little different than what they have been doing. Like, I know that this is going to be a thing. And I guess it was 3 or 4 months or whatever. They put it out, and it was just start taking off. And we were on the same booking agency, and we pretty much became Co Wetzel's opening band for a long time, for, you know, 2-3 years. And which there wasn't anything wrong with it. Besides, there was a time in my life where I was like trying to go to sleep and I was hearing him sing a song of his. You know,
Yeah.
Right.
like I've heard this way too much. But
Yeah. Plus a rowdy crew right there.
yeah. Not to mention the damage on my liver.
Yeah.
You know, that will never be able to be turned around.
Yeah.
But
Is there anyone that you guys open for now that you kind of feel is like that? Like they're more of like a rowdy crew and or are they all pretty tame?
everybody's pretty grown up nowadays,
Yeah.
you know, or that we've had experience with. Another one that I was going to say, like the opening thing, like we were going out to, I think it was Pennsylvania or something, and we were looking for an opening band. It's kind of hard to like get somebody from Southwest Oklahoma or whatever, Oklahoma in general, to go all the way to Pennsylvania. And they were like, "What do you think about this guy?" And they sent over this thing, and it was Stephen Wilson Jr. Like, this will work, you know. And then got to watch him live, and I remember, you know, before it was, I think it was just him and a steel player is all he brought, Scotty, and they played their set, and I just remember being like, "Oh my God, this guy is incredible," you know. Both of them, him and Scotty, and they were just gracious and nice as could be, and they came and played some shows, and they were, you know, little bitty dives and stuff, you know, but, and then now, you know, I guess fast forward to this past year and stuff, I feel like he's just really been getting the recognition he deserves.
Yeah, you're not even the first person who's brought him up during the podcast. I feel like so many musicians just like respect him so
Man,
much.
he's just so good. He's such a great player.
Dirk
Really
Bentley. Dirk Bentley had some really nice things to say about him as well. Yeah,
yeah, he's a great guy, and he, you know, I'm sure for him, he's like, oh, well, you know, I gotta open for these yahoos, you know, but he didn't ever treat us that way. Never was too good or too proud or, you know, big headed. Was just kind and talked about his process and talked about, you know, the shortcomings and the things we did right. And I don't know, he's just a good friend. And that was what came to mind when you first said something about it. And then now, like, he's playing a headline at a festival in Arkansas that we're direct support to him. And I'm so excited. That's why I got on there and was like, I can't wait to watch Stephen Wilson Jr. I'm fired up.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, that's the coolest part of the job, is like whenever you get to go support somebody that you love their music, and then you get done with the job and you get to just enjoy it. That was like when we went to Europe with Blackberry Smoke. That was like, Blackberry Smoke's one of my favorite bands.
Oh yeah.
And every night it was like, I don't know, a beautiful thing. I just get to watch Charlie Starr rip a guitar in half, you know.
Yeah, Blackberry Smoke alone, and then you're in Europe and you could look around.
Yeah,
and be like...
yeah, and then you get the food and the. Yeah, I should have took bigger pants. I outgrew all my pants, dude.
Yeah, that's a problem.
See, I've heard the opposite. I've heard
Really?
that people go to Europe and they don't like the food there.
Oh,
But you're
what?
saying
I loved the
Yeah, I've never
food, the
heard that.
beer.
Wow.
the beer.
and-
The beer, I've heard good things.
In
about,
Germany,
yeah.
they know beer.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I'm pretty sure that's the only reason any of us have beers, because Germans did it first.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Could be wrong.
Fair. Well, we have to wrap up, but before we do, I want to ask, kind of just leave fans with something about the new music that's come in, what to expect, when to expect it.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned, or I mentioned that you guys were in the studio.
And
Yes.
you even
Yes.
said maybe next year.
I think the full project will be released next year.
Mhm.
Probably, if not the top of the year, very early in the year.
Okay.
And we're gonna try to get as many singles as they'll let us get out. That's
Yeah.
our plan. Is just probably fall. Try to release 3 or 4, 5, 6. If you're listening,
Yes.
8, 9, 10. But I think our goal is to release music faster, probably in less numbers. You know, like we were having this talk. I was talking on. I can't remember who it was today, but it was one of the 3 or 4 people that I talked to on the phone about the record anyway. And I was saying like Kings of Leon, one of my favorite bands. And I was like, would I rather have Kings of Leon put out a 20-track record every 2 years, or would I rather than put out a 10-track record every year? And it was like 10 tracks every year.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I think that's where we're ultimately trying to go. We're trying to like mark this time of this is how we sound, this is what we're playing right now, and then keep building on it and try, because I think it took us a long time, because at first it was like we just gotta, we gotta earn our keep, we gotta be, burn down the road and go all these places and pay our dues, and I think we've done that. And really right now it's like, okay, now let's capture as much of this music as we can. Who knows what the future holds. We may not get along in 2 years, but I'm hoping we do. I think we will, but I want to make sure that we're recording music and that we're like stamping this space and time, or this time and place and how we sound, and because that will outlast anything. That will outlast us all. Like we could have a sold out show at the Ryman tomorrow night, and the people that were there are going to remember it, but that was the main reason we did the live record back when we did. It's because I was like, I loved the Ragweed Live from Cain's album. I think that was what really made me love Ragweed even more, or like, because I felt like I was there.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the goal, is just to keep every year put out music and stay in a cycle of road studio. Like I was saying earlier, it was hard. We would go 2 years or 3 years, and then it's like get in the studio and like, all right, where's the gold? It's like,
yeah,
I need some time.
Yeah, for sure.
I need some time to think and work on it. Anyway.
Yeah, and I think obviously fans will be excited to hear that, but then I feel like if you also get into a rhythm, then it might even come naturally. If you're saying like you just go road studio, you should get into some sort of a.
And it's been cool because like we've been a little less hard on ourselves in the sense of, oh, well, this song's too poppy or this is too whatever. We've just kind of gotten the mindset of like, let's just record it. If we don't like it, we don't have to put it out.
Yeah.
We did a John Denver song for this, like a commercial thing that they wanted us to do. Thank God I'm a country boy. And it's the only, I would have said no looking back because I used to like that song.
Yeah.
It took us so long, like a day and a half in the studio. So I sang it like 50 times, and it was like, I did not think this song was going to be that hard. I thought it was going to be something we'd get in there and knock out. And it just ended up taking us way too long.
What commercial? I'm like,
I think they're just going to use the audio for it, but it's like a trailer company or whatever. And it sounded fun, and they're like, hey, do you want to do this? We're like, hell yeah, we'll do it. And then we got, into it. And even the producer and stuff was like, yeah, this will be easy. And then he said he went home and he said something to his wife, and his wife was like, that's really fast. And there's a lot of words in it, and it is.
You're into a whole thing. Yeah. Sounds like.
We like slowed it down a little bit and kind of funked it up a little bit, which was cool. And it's still like 5 verses, and they're just so wordy.
Yeah.
It's so many words.
Definitely going to be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyway, long story short, we were saying, if we like it, we can put it on a record. And if we don't, just let them have it. And they do whatever they want with it. But
I can't imagine you singing that song, so it kind of makes sense why it was difficult.
Yeah, it was just because we didn't want to do it exactly how he did it. We wanted to like put our own spin on it, but it just ended up being, all of us by the end of it were like, okay, note taken. Thank God I'm a Country Boy is a hard song. But it worked out. And I think that was what the golden rule I think that we learned after that was like, the only thing you can do wrong is not participate, and not keep going. Even if you don't want to, get in there, go to work, and it will be worth it, worth your time.
Yeah.
It's like coming down here. Like this is the stuff I like. I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to come in here and talk about me and, you know. And then you get to the end of it, and you're like, that wasn't so bad. We could have done that twice as long.
Yeah, literally. So. Well, on that note,
yeah.
I think that's a perfect note to wrap up on.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I feel like an hour goes by pretty fast in this room.
Yeah.
Especially because like we're just fans of the music, so it's like I'm just asking questions I genuinely want to know. Like, you know, it's not.
I really appreciate y'all having me and what you do for the music community and everything else. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Yeah, thanks
thank
for your time.
It takes a village.
It does, yes.
Yeah, thank you. And we're looking forward to some new music and the show tomorrow. So I'm excited.
Cheers.
Cool.